Hi everybody, welcome to BI Land. This is going to be an epic video about calendar and dates in Power BI. This is something you have to know and master as a data analyst. We are going to create a calendar and expand it with different columns like year quarter, month quarter, sort them, and many other things. Alright, let's get right into it. We have this calendar that we have been using in our previous sessions. Basically, for creating this calendar, we simply use calendar function. Calendar function needs minimum date and maximum date. For that, I'm using the minimum date of our fact table and also maximum date of our fact table. This way, you are sure that you are covering all of the dates from your fact table. For defining minimum and maximum dates, I use variables, and basically I use this key, return key, to put these dates in my calendar function. Up to now, our calendar covers the date from the minimum to the maximum of our fact table. Now we want to add some other columns like year, quarter, month, etc. Therefore, I'm going to use add columns here. After return key, I can add column. I can use add columns function. And also I can use new column. Basically, I click here and new column, and then I put my calculated column for creating new column. We are going to do both. First, I'm going to add few columns using add columns, and then we are going to also use new column. Okay, let's start with a simple one. Let's add year column here. We want to know what year is this date. So I'm going to add column. So I'm going to hit Alt Enter. The function add columns allows me to add column to this table. So my table is the calendar table. I'm going to give the name of the column, and I'm going to give the expression. For that, this is my table. The name of column is going to be year. We type text always like this inside double quotes. And then I'm going to use year function. If I use year function, and the date that I'm going to provide for year function is going to be this date. So I'm going to put date, and if I close parentheses, hit enter, I have the year. So I have 2020, I have 2020. Let's say we want to add also month. So I can add another column. I'm going to call it month. If I use month function, it's going to give me the number of months. So if I provide date to month function, it's going to give me the number of months. But this is not actually what we want. We will need this also. So it's giving me the number of months, 1 to 12. What we want now is to add month name. So I'm going to just click here, add another column, month name. This time I'm going to use format function. Basically, format function, we can give a value to format function, and based on the format, it's going to give us the result. And the formats that the format function accepts, you can find them in the documentation of the Microsoft. I'm going to give date, and I'm going to use the format which is MMM, so 3 M's. This gives me the name of the month with 3 letters. Okay, so if I hit enter, I will have like January JAN, February FEB, etc. So I hit enter. Now I have my month's name, January. If we go to our design section, and here I bring from my calendar table, I bring month name. we see that it's not sorted correctly. It starts according to the letters. This is not what we want. So what we can do about this, we have seen already, probably for other examples, we are going to sort this column by another column. I'm going to sort month name by month number. And I'm going to actually change this to month number. Hit enter. And I'm going to sort month name with month number. Sort by month number. Now if I go back here, I have from January to December. Our next step is to have quarter in our calendar. I am going to Alt enter here. And I'm going to add quarter. As you guess, quarter is like month function, comma, quarter, and comma, quarter. This function is going to give me the number of the quarter. If I hit enter, I'm going to have the number of the quarter. But we really want to have letter Q before the number. To do that, I'm going to use concatenate function. Basically, concatenate function concatenates two texts. I'm going to use them concatenate. My first text is going to be only Q, letter Q, and my second text is going to be this function, quarter function. I'm going to close the parentheses, and now I have the letter next to the number also. Next is to have the year also next to quarter, because I wouldn't know which year is this quarter 3. To add that, so this time year quarter, and for that I'm going to use, as you guess, again concatenate function. For quarter part I have this function, and for year part I'm going to use year function. So concatenate for year part, I'm going to use year function, year date. This is going to give me the year of the date, and for the second part I'm going to use this concatenate function. Notice that we can only put two texts for concatenate function. When you want to do for multiple texts, more than two, you need to use several concatenate functions. And then I'm going to add this. So basically this first text is going to give me the year, and this text quarter. But this way, year is going to be just next to the quarter. There is no separator between year and quarter. So I'm going to just add here a dash. This way, I'm going to have year dash Q and my quarter. If I hit enter, I have my year and quarter. So let's see it here. If I bring year quarter into a table, I have my year and quarter. Okay, now let's add year month. Let's see how is that one. I'm going to Alt enter here and year month. Basically, we are going to use again concatenate function. Concatenate. First text is going to be year. So year of my date, and second function is going to be month. But month function gives me three first letters of the month name. I need to add dash before these letters. So for that, I'm going to use concatenate again, and I'm going to use dash, and then I'm going to use format function. Format, my value is date, and my format is 3Ms. Concatenate, close parenthesis, and now year, month. Let's see here. If I bring year, month here, there's a problem here. It is not sorted correctly. I'm starting 2019 with April. So year is alright, but the month is not good. So how we can do that? I'm going to add another column. So basically this column needs to be sorted by another column. And I'm going to call that column sort column. I'm going to add sort, let's call it year, month. The best approach for this, I'm going to magnify the importance of the year, and then I'm going to add months to it. So I need a number here. I need a number to be able to put January 2019 as the first number. For that, I'm going to first make the year function. Already to understand our year is which year. I'm going to amplify the importance of year by 100, and then I'm going to add to this number month of my date, and month is going to be month of date. This way I can have a column that I can use for sorting your month column. Okay, let's see, enter. Okay, now I'm going to sort this column by this column. So year, month, I'm going to sort by sort year, month. And if I go here now, I see that January, February, March, until December 2019, and then it goes 2020 from January to December, and 2021 from January to December. That looks great. Up to now we have seen about quarter and month. Now let's add some columns about weeks. So if I go here, this time I'm going to use new column instead of using inside the original formula of the calendar. So I click here and I hit this new column here. Okay. First off, let's see what week number gives me. My goal is to have the number of week for each date. For example, if we are in first week of February, I want 1. If I am in the second week of the February, I want 2nd, etc. So the week number inside each month. If we use, there's a function I'm going to call for now this, let's call this week in month. Let's start with week number. When I use week number and I give it date, calendar date, notice that here when we were inside the original formula, it was proposing me only date without calendar, because we were inside original formula of the calendar, so the date without the table was already known. But here, because I'm out of that original formula, so it's proposing me also the table. Anyway, let's see what this week number gives me. This week number gives me the week inside the year. So for example, for this date, the week number is 27, and etc. How we can have week number inside months? What we have to do here is to take out the number of weeks before each month. For example, if we are in February, I have to take out the number of weeks before February. For example, April. I need to subtract the week number up to April and then see what my week number inside the month is. But how we can know the week number, the number of weeks just before the month that we are in? We are going to use a function that is called STARTOFMONTH. Basically, STARTOFMONTH function gives me the first day of the month. If I have first day of the month and then I have the week number for that date, then I can subtract that part from week number here. So I'm going to subtract. So we already know that I have to subtract the week number. STARTOFMONTH for the date, calendar date, is going to give me first day of the month that our date is in. So for example, if we are in 15th February, it's gonna give me 1st February. And if I have 1st February, week number is going to be up to 1st February, and then I can take out from my actual week number. Notice that we have 0 because this week number gives me the week number of this date from the beginning of the year, and this week number gives me the week number from beginning of the year up to the first of the month. Because first of the month is going to be the month that we are dealing with in our date, I have to add 1 here to compensate for that. Now if I hit enter, we are all good. Okay, now let's add the text of the week and month. So now we have the week and month as number. I'm going to add this with the month next to it as a text. Let's add new column. I'm going to call this week. This time I'm gonna do it like this, calendar, month name. And I'm gonna use and. Basically, when you add few texts next to each other, we can use and. I'm going to use week. I'm gonna put a space, dash, a space, week, and maybe again a space, and week in month. I basically concatenate few texts together here. If I hit enter, I have the month and week. If I go here, I'm gonna bring these here and then here. This time I'm going to bring week. It starts from April and it's not sorted correctly. So let's see how we can sort this one. Here, basically in our example, we can sort this according to the month. I can say sort this one according to the month number. Because as we saw, it was only the month that was not sorted. And if I come here, it starts from January, week 1 to 6, and etc. Okay, let's continue with some inspection calculations. Basically, sometimes we want to know if we are in this year or in last year or in this quarter, things like this. And we want by default our report to be filtered according to these inspections. Sometimes we can do these with measures, and sometimes we prefer to have them in our calendar. For example, if I want to see I am in this year, if my date corresponds to this year, to show 1, and if it's not, to show 0, and then later I can filter my report according to this. Let's see if my calendar contains any date that is this year. As you remember, our calendar is based on our fact table and the dates that are in our fact table from minimum date to maximum date. Now if I want to inspect if I have this year in my calendar, I'm going to call this year, and I'm going to say if year, I have already year column here, so I can use this column, or I can redo the calculation. If the year of my date, which is my calendar date, is equal to year of now, we are in 2022, then give me 1 else 0. If I hit enter, I see that I have only zeros. Why? Because I don't have year 2022. Now let's say we want to see if we are in this or last year. Do I have dates that correspond to this year or last year? For that, I'm going to add new column. Let's call this and last year. This time I'm gonna say if year function of my date, calendar date, is equal to year now. Basically, year now gives me the year of the date that I am right now. Or we can use this sign, 2 vertical bars, for or logic. Or year of my calendar date is equal to year of now minus 1. Minus 1, it means last year. Give me 1 else 0. We are in year 2022. I should have number 1 for year 2021. And if I filter on this, I see that I have year 2021. Okay, so if, for example, if I go in my report part, I can put in my filter section this and last year. On this page, to have the basic filtering, I want always to be 1. So basically, I want always my indicators to be on this and last year. Okay. Basically, you can do this for other parts also, like quarter, this quarter, last quarter, and etc. Let's do it rapidly for this quarter also. If I go here, now I want to see if my data corresponds to this quarter, which means also this year. We are going to make a new column, and I'm going to call this quarter, and I'm going to say if quarter of our calendar is equal to quarter now. And the second logic I have to add is that we have to check if we are in the same year also, because quarter now, it only gives me quarter 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to check also the year. So I'm going to add AND logic. For adding AND logic, I can use 2 AND signs. And then I'm going to check also year of our date in our calendar is equal to year now. Now our logic is done. I'm going to say if it's true, give me 1, else 0. And if I hit enter, I will only have zeros because this year is 2022 and we don't have any data for 2022. As an exercise, I would let you do the same calculation for this and last quarter. As a tip, I would say that be careful about quarter 4 and then don't hesitate to share your answer with us in the comments below. Let's see something about fact table here. Imagine we have multiple fact tables, which is our case also. And as we saw for our calculation of the calendar, we used minimum of our one of the fact tables, or the same for maximum. But imagine we want to also consider the minimum of our second fact table. Basically, I want to see the minimum of each minimum, which means that if I want to have the minimum between the two, I have to have a calculation also for the minimum of our other fact table. For that, let's start just with another line, variable minimum date for gas. I'm gonna say it minimum, this time gas, date department study date. Now this gives me also minimum date, and I need to choose the minimum between the two. And for that, I'm going to, instead of having this calculation here, I'm going to put this next to this calculation and nest both of them inside the minimum function. So if I add minimum here, I'm going to use minimum between this and this. So I can just get this here and put here. Now I'm going to have the minimum between the two fact tables. I can either get this out of the way, like comment it, or just delete this one. And if I hit enter, now I'm going to consider the minimum of the two tables. I didn't need this line. Okay, I think we are done here. An epic video about calendar and dates in Power BI or SSIS tabular models. These are things that you have to know when you are a data analyst or dealing with Power BI reports. Don't hesitate to like this video, share your comments or opinions on this subject. Subscribe to our channel for the coming awesome videos. Until then, have a good day. Bye bye.